You're still here then, Jeremy?
I'm still here, but you can enjoy today because you know tomorrow you have a job.
Yes.
Whereas none of us have.
Put us into
idea.
your shoes for a moment. What is it? You've been a cabinet minister for quite a while. What does it feel like today with all this uncertainty? I presume you genuinely have no idea what's going to happen.
You don't, and this is the sort of wonderful way the British Constitution works. But I do think, actually, looking back on this period of time, that Brexit vote was a big shock to the political establishment, but people will say that British democracy is bloody robust. I mean, we sorted out a big decision like that, a new Prime Minister, a new government in just a few weeks, and I think people want that kind of stability. And I think, in a way, whether you agree with the Brexit decision or not, people will reflect back and say, actually, this is a very strong democracy. Politicians are doing what the people want, and they're sorting things out quickly.
OK, I think the last time we saw you, you were planning to make a bid to be leader of the party. Then you threw your support behind Theresa May. So are you furiously WhatsApping Theresa at the moment, saying, remember, I supported you, remember, I stood down so that you could win? I mean, what is your pitch to get a job in a new Prime Minister's cabinet?
Well, I don't think there's much point. I mean, just think about the kind of person Theresa is. This is someone who has total determination, a total grasp of her brief. She knows what she wants to do, and considering the vast majority of the parliamentary party supported her in the end, I think the reason that we want her to be the next Prime Minister, and we're thrilled about what's happening today, is that we recognise, after this incredibly difficult decision, which has challenges and also opportunities when we leave the EU, we need someone who is calm and in crisis, knows exactly what they want to do, total command of detail.
All right, easy with the sycophancy.
I
know she's watching here. She's got the point.
She always watches GMB, doesn't she? She's one of your most loyal viewers.
I would imagine she is watching Good Morning Britain. If she has any sense, she will be, Jeremy. Take me back to Cabinet yesterday. David Cameron, Tory leader for 11 years, Prime Minister for a number of years as well. But, the boss for a long time. What was it like in there when you knew this was the end and his last meeting?
I think it was mixed emotions for everyone there. Obviously, sadness that his premiership didn't end the way he wanted, the shock of the Brexit vote.
Did anyone cry yesterday?
I think there were a few tears in people's eyes.
Who was blubbing?
Some of the Downing Street staffers, who are people who worked for him in Number 10, who were sitting around the edge of the cabinet room.
Any tears of guilt from Boris and Gove and
Boris? Obviously, Boris isn't in the cabinet.
Oh, sorry,
of course.
Michael Gove was there, right?
Michael Gove was there, but I think
was he crying? His own guilt?
I didn't see him. I didn't see him crying, but I'm not sure he's the crying type, actually. But I think also there was a feeling of pride, because I think there are two things that David Cameron really will be remembered for, apart from what happened with Brexit. One is the turnaround in the British economy. I mean, he arrived just after the 2008 financial crisis, and we have created more jobs than.
But he might have just made a decision with this referendum that's gone the wrong way, which may tank our economy irrevocably. So we don't know yet, do we?
And we want to make a success of that decision, and that's why we've had the big changes that we've had. But I think the other thing, which actually Andrew Pearce was talking about, is that he made the Conservative Party electable. Remember when he took over, we'd lost an election. Even in 2010, we weren't trusted to form a majority government. By 2015, people could see this as a one-nation Conservative government.
Well,
you talked about gay marriage, but there's also the transformation of standards in state schools, the national living wage. There's a lot of things there.
Just got a text here from Theresa saying, how do you fancy the Home Office?
No.
I think I will not speculate, but...
you wouldn't say no, though, would you?
All I'll say is that what I've been doing for the last 4 years has been tough, but it has been a big privilege.
OK, well, I hope David Cameron's not looking at Twitter this morning, because the things that he's being remembered for there perhaps are not all of the fantastic achievements that you've alluded to. Austerity comes up over and over and over again, and people have been really affected by policies, and one of the reasons that Jeremy Corbyn is so powerful at the moment, people might say, is because failures in David Cameron's leadership. But today is his last day, so I suppose everything is going to be positive.
And actually, you haven't got to suck up to Cameron anymore, because you've got to spend the next few hours sucking up to Theresa May.
One thing I will say, though, I think the verdict of history always turns out to be different to the verdict when someone actually leaves office.
That is true.
I think when the dust settles, people will see that actually this was 6 years when the country really did start to prosper.
Jeremy Hunt, best of luck today. You've always been a regular guest on our sofa. We hope to have you back in
we have a cushion with your face on it.
We do. We haven't given him that. Yeah.
Yes.
After you blew us out once, we were going to give that.
Yeah. So when you're not here, that is here on the sofa with us.
We welcome you back next week in whatever capacity you are now in, even if it's unemployment.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that's a very cheery note. A cheery note to finish on, Piers.
We'll even get you a cab because obviously they take the car away, don't they? Well, they do. They take the car away.
Oh, you stay an MP, of course.
Yeah, but you lose your car, don't you?
You certainly do, yes.
So have you got a spare car tomorrow, in case?
I've got my Toyota Prius. You know.
I think the country requires fresh leadership to take it in this direction. I will do everything I can as Prime Minister to steady the ship over the coming weeks and months. But I do not think it would be right for me to try to be the captain that steers our country to its